I think Sia actually has a song about it. You know that song, I've got thick skin and elastic nipples. That one? Yeah, I have elastic nipples. Hello to all of my beautiful birthing people out there and beautiful pumping people, because this video is all about how we are going to make pumping the most comfortable thing for you, because we know that when you are comfortable, when you are pumping, you get more milk, and more milk is always a good thing. If we are emptying our breasts better with the pump, we're going to be less at risk for clogged ducts, we're going to be less at risk for a decrease in our supply, and overall, it's just going to work out better. So there's a lot of things that go into that though that I want to go over with you guys. And this video, I also am going to be doing a giveaway for some cushions from Beaugen. So stick around to the end to figure out how you can enter that giveaway and get yourself a fabulous pair of pumping cushions, because we like to have some cushions for pumping, making things feel fabulous, fun, and free. The first thing that I want to go over with you guys to help make pumping more comfortable for you is Flange Fit Size. This is so unbelievably important, and it's also something that most people aren't super well versed in, and it's also kind of frustrating because most of the time right out of the box your pump is going to come with a 24mm and a 28mm flange. And a flange is this part of a pump. This is from a Medela pump. This is, I believe, a 24mm flange. I used this the entire time with my first baby. This was too big for me. I'm a 21mm and I had no idea. I didn't know. The part of the flange that changes sizes is this part right here, this tunnel. So you want a tunnel that encompasses your nipple and not a ton of areola tissue, and when you're pumping, nothing is rubbing. A flange that's too small isn't gonna empty your breast efficiently. It's almost like you have a poor latch. And a flange that's too big is gonna draw in way too much tissue and be uncomfortable as well. So you wanna make sure that you have a properly sized flange. I will link down below a really good ruler that you can print out and cut and figure out your flange size. But I also have something else going on with my nipples that is a little weird. I think Sia actually has a song about it. You know that song, I've got thick skin and elastic nipples. That one? Yeah, I have elastic nipples. And you might be like, Elizabeth, what are elastic nipples? Well, first off, I'm not going to show you my nipples, but you couldn't see them when I'm not pumping. My nipples look like your regular run-of-the-mill everyday nipples in their natural state. But when I pump, my nipple tissue, which needs to be elastic, right, because your baby is able to draw it back and create a really good latch with it and a good seal. My nipple is like extra elastic, and so when I pump, I can really pump in any millimeter flange and my nipple will expand to fill that entire thing. And the big thing that I have issues with too is that my nipple will just continue to get pulled further and further and will actually hit the back of the flange. And I've had it happen where I actually bled from my nipple repeatedly just hitting the back of the flange. Ouch. This is something that you don't even think about, and there'd be no way really for you to know until you start pumping. And I didn't realize that it was abnormal when I was pumping for my first, even though yes, I help mamas breastfeed and help them pump sometimes in the hospital. I never really paid attention to what their nipples looked like during their whole pumping session. Whereas like with mine, they were getting drawn in really far. I would have to almost like apply traction to the pump to make the funnel longer. And then I'll do a lot of hand expression to make my milk come out after my initial letdown and to fully empty my breast because of my elastic nipples. Now with my second baby, who walked in but my Beaugen cushions. Now the cushions that I have, these are like my personal cushions that I use. So they are a little bit stretched out, but I didn't want to open a new pair and waste them. But these guys have a little bit of color to them. The ones that they make now are clear. And honestly, the most annoying thing about these was the color to them because I couldn't tell if my nipple was right in the center. You have a couple of options on how you do them. You can put them right inside the flange and then put your breast in like that. Or, and what I more did was I would put it on my nipple first, and I actually would kind of fold this down like a little turtleneck sweater. I would put it over my nipple, and it was kind of difficult to make sure that it was midline. So the fact that they're clear now is amazing. They do a few different things. So they're great if you have elastic nipples. Great, great, great. Because they actually stop all of that extra tissue from getting pulled in. It stopped my breast from hitting the back of the flange, which was life-changing. The other thing, and the thing that I use these the very most for, was when I would pump with one of my HandsFree pumps. So I had, when I was pumping, both a Willow and an LV, and I can talk to you guys all about those one day. I actually had somebody message me this morning, oh, did you ever put out your Willow versus your LV recommendations? I didn't. But what I will say is with both of those, I didn't get as much output because the flange, my nipple was getting pulled all the way in, but not in an appropriate way, and so it wasn't expressing the milk, and I wasn't able to hand massage because those sit in your bra on your chest. So the LV I was actually getting like no milk with when I first started using it. And I was like, this doesn't even work. I can't even get it to express the milk for me. Now what made it a game changer and what made me get the same amount with my LV that I could get with my Spectra pump were these guys. I would do my little turtleneck trick, put it on my breast, put the flange over top, and get everything sorted together. And I could pump and get my same milk output. So these were a game changer for that. These are amazing. They're really good too if you're kind of in between sizes, because they take a millimeter or two off of the flange size. So I am a 21 millimeter flange if I don't use anything else. But if I use these, I go up to the 24, because when I do the turtleneck trick especially, it sizes down the flange size for me so that the 24 is appropriate. These are really great. I am so excited to be able to give a pair away to you guys. And then I also have an affiliate link, which this is my first affiliate link. I will say, you know, like affiliate links, you guys are going to get some money off, and then I get a small percentage back too. So if you don't want to use my link, that's totally fine. But I would really encourage you, if you are having difficulty pumping, if you think that you might have an elastic nipples like me and Sia, then this is going to be the key for you. Again, they're clear now, so you can actually see. That was the big thing. I would be like, okay, is my nipple midline? I can't really tell. Now you can tell, which is amazing. Another thing that you can add into your pumping regime if things are feeling uncomfortable is a little bit of coconut oil. Now, for those of you who know anything about anything, coconut oil is all the rage right now, but it's actually really good because it's antimicrobial, it's antifungal, it's a great lubricant, and it's a great nipple balm. So some people like to use lanolin as a nipple balm or as a lubricant. Lanolin for me is a little bit sticky to use as a lubricant when pumping, and also some people can be allergic to lanolin. Definitely don't want an allergic reaction on your nipples. Eee. So try it on your lips beforehand. Just make sure you're not having any tingling or burning if you're going to use lanolin for a nipple balm. I use coconut oil for all of that stuff. You want to get cold pressed, unrefined coconut oil, which you can just get in a cooking section at Target. That's all I use. I just get a big tub of it, and then I get a small container that I will scoop it into, and I'll just use that for lubrication. So before I would pump, I would just put a little bit on the inside of my flange. Potentially you could use a little bit on the inside of your cushion if you needed to, but I found that I didn't need as much lubrication with this because this helped things not be so uncomfortable. So I would use some lubrication on the inside of my flange and then go ahead and pump that way. Coconut oil is nice too because it is safe. You don't need to wipe it off before baby goes to the breast. So that's an option as well. Now, big thing when you're pumping, a lot of people are really into hands-free pumping bras that are also like part of your regular bra. Here's why I don't like those. You need to have one, right, for every single day of the week. They're expensive. And then just depending on your breast size and your nipple orientation, for me, I had one and like it didn't work. So I'm going to show you guys real fast how I like to do. This is just a nursing bra. These are from Target. I will link them. These are my favorite. Full coverage and the lining is sewn in. It's amazing. So what I would do when I would go pump, I'd be wearing my nursing bra, clip the whole thing down, and then I like this Simple Wishes pumping bra by Lancino. I zip it up backwards though. I didn't realize this until I was watching a commercial for it. I totally zip it up backwards. So I guess you're supposed to have the zipper start at the top and zip down. I always start the zipper at the bottom and zip up because, oh, and you can tell how much smaller my boobs are now that I'm not breastfeeding, because then you can always unzip a little bit and really hand massage and help get the milk to come out. This way though, you are able to still wear a bra that's functional. This one, you can kind of move it around to make it wherever your nipple is pointing, right? Because we're all different. I really like a separate hands-free pumping bra. This one is also nice because you can add a strap if you feel like you need to, but because you're not wearing it all the time, I think it's great just like this. And again, kind of unzip at the top and do a lot of hand expression to help express your milk. That's one way that I find it to be much more comfortable, because you know it's not comfortable? Sitting and holding this onto your breasts for 15 to 20 minutes at a time. It's not comfortable, and it makes you really focus on what you're doing. It hurts your daggone wrists, and you can't multitask. You also can't be looking at pictures of your baby. So I'm a big fan of hands-free pumping bras, both because they help you be able to hand express a little bit better, and they also are comfortable for your wrists and for you to be able to multitask and not be focused on pumping. Because sometimes when you're focused on pumping, the milk doesn't flow as you would hope it would. Another tip for making pumping more comfortable is going to be one that maybe seems a little bit counterintuitive, but it's going to be, I have my specter right here. This is about what level I would pump at. This is a level 7, and you can hear it's a strong suction, right? I'm going to go up to a level 12. That's the highest that this puppy can go to. You do not have to pump at the highest setting to get the most milk. You will get the most milk when your body feels like it's similar to breastfeeding and it feels comfortable. Some people pump at a level 12, and that's fine and that works for them. But if when you're pumping, it's hurting, and most of these things that we've talked about are how to get pumping to not hurt for you. But if you're pumping and it's hurting, try turning down the pump a little bit, because sometimes we think, oh, let's crank this puppy up. I am gonna pump, 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 pump. It's actually counterintuitive, because if it's hurting, you're going to make less milk. And you also can do permanent damage to your nipple. That's why flange size is so important. That's why these Beaugen cushions can be so useful if you have elastic nipples or if you have a flange that's pinching and not fitting appropriately. Because the long and short of it is, this machine, just like your baby, if the latch is not proper, can do a lot of damage to your nipple, and the damage can be permanent. And we don't want that for you. You don't want that for you. You don't need to pump at the strongest setting. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, you think would be pretty obvious, but perhaps it's not. When you're pumping at work, when you're pumping at home, when you're pumping anywhere, for me particularly, I would notice I would be really quick to like hunch over, have really poor posture. And when I was exclusively pumping, I was pumping an hour to 2 hours a day. Maybe even more than that actually, because by the end I was having to pump for really long periods of time to empty my breast, which is the problem for exclusive pumpers. Regardless, it was a long period of time for me to have really poor posture. What I found is when I would bring a pillow to where I was sitting and prop pillows up behind my back so that I could comfortably just lean back just a smidge, it did wonders for my back. And as moms and dads and anybody who knows who's taking care of a baby, all of the bending up over the crib, all of the picking up of your babies, especially as they start to get heavy. I'm looking at you, Holden, who is now in the 99th percentile for weight. It hurts your back. So whatever we can do to encourage good posture and also not strain on your back is really important. If you're pumping at work, if you're in a desk chair or a chair where you really can't lean back because it's too deep, bring some pillows from home and store those at work where you're pumping, but making sure that your back is supported, just like when you're breastfeeding. A lot of times when I'm helping people tweak breastfeeding a brand new baby, we talk a lot about bringing the baby to them, not them to the baby, right? So that they're not hunched over like this, so that they're sitting up and leaning comfortably, and even leaning back a little bit comfortably. So it needs to be the same with pumping. We need to protect our backs. Our backs are so important, and I know this is coming from a nurse, but like, your back is kind of your lifeline. One of them for sure. So please protect your back. Please sit up comfortably. Please make sure that you're using a hands-free pumping bra so you're protecting your wrists, that your flanges are appropriately sized, that you're using your cushions and your lubrications as needed, and that you are providing milk for your baby. The thing I want to leave you guys with is that your worth is obviously not measured in ounces. Whether you're able to fully pump for your baby and perhaps pump extra and give that out, whether you're just pumping a few ounces a day, you are enough for your baby, and I hope that these tips can help you pump more comfortably, feel more confident in your pumping, and get through this first year or so of life, because all of this stuff is very challenging when we add on not sleeping, when we add on all of the concerns with a global pandemic that we're currently in. So I just want you to know that you're enough for your baby, and hopefully some of these tips will be helpful for you. Now onto the giveaway. Okay, my friends, we are gonna do this through Instagram. It's the easiest way, but I learned from my last giveaway. All you have to do to win your very own pair of clear, so not like these, but clear Beaugen cushions is like my picture on Instagram. That will be up. Go ahead and make sure that you're following me. And then if you want to leave a comment with any other tips that you have for pumping, definitely do so. Thanks so much. Bye guys.